Hi, guys. Wow. Hi, everybody. Is this on? No.
Hi.
So, thanks for coming out, everybody.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
We like San Antonio.
Yeah. Does anybody have like a smartphone? So I don't know what to do. Do I just kind of start launching into talking here?
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Well, just a basic Q&A.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, just Q&A sessions. They're going to ask you questions, and you're going to answer. So, questions. That's all I have.
Awesome. Do I have to call on people?
You could, if you like.
I'm gonna let you figure this out.
Hi, I have a question for David. I really admire your interaction with the characters when they woke up. I was wondering if that was hard for you acting to develop those reactions when you're not actually seeing that with the character at that point in time. This is all added later.
Wonderful pronunciation, by the way. We often have to, it's hard to figure out how to pronounce all these words, so we have someone on set who tries to kind of keep us in line. Yeah, it was actually difficult, especially in the beginning, to know what these things were even, what these creatures even looked like. In the pilot episode, I had no sense of what these things were going to look like, and I just was told to react to somebody changing and do it. We'll see. We'll figure it out later. And now, my characters changed in that when they morph, nothing shocks me, nothing does. I'm just ready for it all the time. It's like someone drinking a sip of coffee.
I remember I had to do that once, and it was some, I don't even know what it was. Oh, it was walking in. This was in season 1, and Aunt Marie's there, and they were trying to shoot this scene so that it was really creepy, and my eye line wasn't correct for Aunt Marie, so they just put a pink Post-it note there, and they're like, "That's the scary person." That's not scary at all.
Yeah. I apologize. I didn't know that was for me, and then Bitsie decided.
She has to make up for not being on the shirt. It wasn't cool.
What's that?
He said her coolness factor wasn't high enough to be on the shirt. So she had to make
Oh, yeah. I'm always teasing her.
What?
I love her. Next question.
Hi, thanks for coming to San Antonio. This is a question for both you, Bitsie, and you, David. If y'all could be any Besson, what would you be and why?
Where are you? Oh, there you are. I liked the Mauvais Dent from, I guess it was the beginning of season 2.
Yeah.
The cat, the saber-toothed tiger. I just like that it always reminded me a little bit of, that viral YouTube video, Ninja Cat, where the camera turns away and the cat's there, and I just liked the way the saber-toothed tiger moved, and he seemed pretty creepy.
Yeah, my stock answer is generally the blue button, but I'm gonna go deeper for you. I really dug. Okay, so we're on set around all of these beasts all the time. Like I'll meet a guest star, next thing you know, they're like decapitated, and all, so it's weird stuff. I'm kind of used to it. But when I saw Krampus, so we did a Christmas episode this year, and this actor he was really good. He was an enormous guy, and it looked like something out of a what's the dude's name? Did Beetlejuice. Help me out, Tim Burton. Yeah, he was this horrible Santa guy with like horns, and he would steal kids and put them in a basket in a tree to eat them later. So, it was incredible, and the actor was. I don't think I ever interacted with him outside of his character, so it was just very creepy. We had a very cool laugh.
We saw the gag reel for season 3, which is really, really funny, and there's an awesome scene with this actor and character as Krampus being all creepy, and then he's looking, and then one of the horns just and then he's just like, hold on.
Next question.
Hi guys, this is for both of you actually. Being a couple and engaged now on the show.
Not engaged, actually. I haven't said yes.
Not engaged, sorry. Not engaged. Is it clear? Difficult for you as actors with any relationship that you've acted on to act like you're in love or that you're in lust or just like anything like that? Is it odd? Like how do you guys get ready for that?
You know, okay, this is a fun question. So as actors, you often have to like, you'll be like, hey, what's your name? Okay, great, we have to now French kiss. Bitsie and I had already known each other for years, really. We had done a movie together where we also played another movie where I asked her to marry her, and
I said no.
So we had done this, we'd shot this movie maybe 7 months prior to even booking the show. And I booked the role of Nick, and I think I was the first person cast. And I don't know how it went down.
I texted you congratulations.
And I said, you need to go in for this role, Juliet. She got it. Long story short, for us, I remember before we had to do our first kiss, because we didn't kiss in the movie. She's like, we can't just do it on screen. We had like, we can't just, so we like fake kissed in the corner. So we did
rehearsal.
Yeah. The reason I became an actor. So for us, it's been pretty normal and easy. And then everything just becomes very professional after a second, you know? Everything becomes normal.
You know, people grow on you. It is always awkward. It's just, I don't mean it that way. It wasn't like I never, you know, obviously he's very handsome and everything, but it's nerve-wracking at first when, you know, because we did shoot this movie and we did know each other and we were friends, but we had not kissed, so that's why I said, let's go practice beforehand, but I don't know, it's just really fun to look at.
That's very sweet. So are you. I'm shy.
In the last season, the last episode, Nick loses his green power.
Yeah.
Are we going to see him more of like a mentor kind of role with the younger Grimm in the next season?
Yeah, trouble, man. I was in New York. I was visiting New York for the upfronts, for the NBC upfronts, and this woman who was like, I don't think she's ever left her like street. She was so New York. She's like, yo, the Grimm, this is perfect. I love that girl, Danger. That's funny. But yeah, I think that's kind of what they're going for. I actually really enjoyed working with Trouble. She's awesome. It kind of brings a new side of Nick out, and even on set, like Jacqueline is just so cool. I have a bunch of sisters in real life, and she reminds me of my little sister. Yeah, I think she's gonna be like my seeing eye Grimm.
We don't know though, that's what's kind of crazy. I mean, we go back to work in a couple weeks to start shooting and we have no idea. We haven't seen a script for episode 1. We kind of just don't know.
No, I know one crazy thing that's gonna happen that you don't know, and I can't tell anybody. But I think it's gonna happen in like the first 3 or 4 episodes.
He's lying.
No, I swear to God, it's going to be nuts, and your character's not gonna like it. You're alive. You're alive.
I think it's safe to say that my character generally doesn't like anything
I
that's
know. That's very important. But yes, we love Jacqueline Taboni, is the actress's name. And she got cast right out of, our creators went to go, the creators of her show, Jim Kauf and David Greenwald. Jim Kauf has a daughter at Ann Arbor, Michigan. And so they went to go like teach a class, kind of like a special thing, and they were trying to cast this new part. They couldn't find anybody out of thousands of people in LA and New York. So they found this girl in an acting class.
Yeah, they just said you guys want to just read the materials for fun. And apparently another girl who was a student as well also got fairly far along in the process, but they were mainly, as David said, auditioning in LA, and then they flew her out to LA to read for Network, and she got it, and she's been really fun. And it's her first job.
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Dream makers.
Any other questions?
I can just regale you guys for hours. Okay, come on.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Where do you guys film? I mean, is it always all in LA or in Oregon, or do you want to go over around the world?
Where do we want to go? I don't know, Paris? No, I mean, we only shoot in Portland and sort of maybe at most an hour outside of Portland in the woods. Yeah.
There are rules about these things. Here's a little secret. A lot of the reason things aren't shot in LA is because states offer tax incentives. So like Portland does that, Texas does as well. There's a lot of production in Austin and
Portland's
Dallas.
not a state, but that's fine. States offer tax incentives. Portland does that.
Yeah, she got me. But yeah, so no, we shoot always in Portland. It's beautiful up there. It's actually very fitting for the show.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
I love your show. And probably what you were saying a little bit earlier about you start filming again in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How familiar are you with the material as far as the scripts before the episodes, before you shoot them? And if you haven't had a whole lot of time, how much time do you need to prepare for the episode before you start shooting?
Thank you.
I mean, it really varies. As I said, we haven't seen the episode 1 yet, but once we get back, usually at the beginning of the season, we'll get quite a few in a row. You know, once we get back, so we'll probably get up through episode 4 or 5 in a row, and after that, a lot of the time, which is difficult, you don't get a script until a few days before filming even, so it makes it kind of hard to really work on a script. I know David in particular is often so busy shooting that you don't even get a chance to really work on your scenes for the next day until you are home from a day of filming.
Yeah, you kind of just take, the ideal would be you have as much time, like months, to like work on a script, and that's how it is often with movies. But one of the joys and also drawbacks to 22 episodes in a row is that like once you're 5 episodes in, you've been so buried in material that often you just use whatever you can, anytime you can muster, but it's often not what you want, but it also teaches you kind of how to pull it together and not be so intellectual about stuff and just kind of be in the moment, and you see that actually works. And you can get in your own way with over preparing something sometimes too. So that's it.
Hey,
I'm not allowed to comment.
also love the show. My question is about the side effects for Baron Zombie when you were zombified. And I don't feel like they really resolved that. Do you feel like that's something that's going to be continued to be touched upon, or did the writers just kind of peter away? I mean, I know that I'm sure they're going to resolve, with the killing the one dude and everything. They'll come back to that if they have. But it seems like they didn't. They started with seeing the stuff with the slipping into the zombie powers or something, but it kind of seemed to back burner. If that's
Yeah. First, I just want to interject quickly. So I don't know if you have any makeup on, but if not, you definitely need a shot of vitamins. I'm worried. That storyline, you're totally right. I mean, it stuck out because they kind of stopped using it.
But no punchline.
I don't know if they're going to continue with that. I would imagine.
I think it was really more about let's just establish that his powers are now heightened, and so he's sort of like extra grimy.
Yeah, except now, no grimy.
And then my question for Bitsie is, how much fun was it slipping into the character of Adeline for that.
You gotta go to bed with me. How fun was that?
That was awesome, and Claire was a really great sport about it because I had to switch back and forth the entire episode. I needed to make sure that I was gonna really nail her mannerisms because it still looked like me. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware, if you're just watching it for the first time, that these are two distinct people. So
It's so weird watching it. She was walking just like Claire. Claire doesn't like use her arms.
Yeah, Claire has a very distinctive walk, and so Norberto, who's our main director-producer, had sent me advanced episodes because Claire does something with her face that I don't really do either. So he's like, watch Claire's mouth, watch the way Claire angles her head, and watch the way she walks, and I really was just studying that for a long time. And then once I sort of had the gestures and mannerisms down, I actually was shooting a scene with Claire where we were alternating when I'm smoking out of the hat, and I pulled her aside and I just said, well, you just read in your voice my lines. And then before I would shoot that scene myself, I would play the video on my iPhone of Claire, just on set, so that I could get the intonations in her voice down too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Hi, really like the show. Sad to say, me and my wife just bought the first season.
Oh, really?
So I don't mind the spoilers, it's awesome. But,
You're in the wrong room, man.
it's kind of funny because me and my wife fell in love with the show. Great show, real fun. And I just had to ask, our kind of favorite, not favorite, but real fun to watch is Monroe.
Of course, it's insanely wonderful. Yeah.
What I wanted to know was, how is it working with him in real life? Because I've seen a couple of shows, on USA, and he'll pop in, and he seems like he's always kind of, kind of jittery.
Yeah.
I guess. Is he fun to work with? I mean,
That sounds about
he looks like he would be.
Yeah, listen, Silas Weir Mitchell is the name of the actor.
Yeah.
He is, nobody. We all understand on the show what a gift he is for our show, and the things he's been able to do with Monroe. The character was written for him. I don't believe he even had to audition, it was offered.
No, our show creators, David Greenwald and Jim Kalf, had done, I think, a film with Silas, and Silas is a lot like Monroe. He sort of knows a lot about everything.
The
He gets
minutia
really
of
excited,
everything.
and oh my god!
He was talking to me about buying a spittoon for like an hour.
Yeah, so they wrote that role for him.
Yeah.
So,
He is so, his brain works in a different way, as a lot of brilliant people do. Bitsie says too. It doesn't really work. No, so he has so many words. He never once says the lines out loud when he's rehearsing them. He just thinks them, as does Reggie Lee, who plays Sergeant Wu. And they just do a lot of homework. They do a lot of imagination about it, and it comes out in that way. But he is very similar to the character. He is definitely acting though. He's not like goofy-go-lucky. He's a sweetheart. He's kind of curmudgeonly in the way specific people are. But joy, Great guy.
Hello. Obviously, there's a lot of fight scenes with a bunch of monsters. For David, do you have to undergo any training for fighting scenes before the show?
Yeah, I was so not trained before the pilot. They didn't think the show was going to go. I don't think. They're just yeah, just do this thing. So the whole first season was just kind of
it worked for the character.
It worked for the character,
Matt Taylor.
We have a very good stunt coordinator named Matt Taylor, who's won Emmys and Oscars.
He was nominated for an Emmy for Grimm.
Oh, that's right. And he's one of these guys who's father and grandfather were in the business, and they all had stuntman names like Butch Magoo. So he has really helped me out a lot. So I do rehearse prior to scenes, maybe a day or two before. Now it's kind of like I get the move, so it's kind of in me. I also have a really good stunt guy who looks so much like me. My dad was visiting set and he like waved to him, and he didn't wave back to my dad. My dad got all like sad. My son thinks he's too good for me. So we have really good stunt people. I do all the stunts. I do them poorly, and then my stunt guy does them at a wickedly cool speed, and he helps me out a lot.
I had a question for both of you. When the show first started, it was really more focused on David and you, but over time it really seems to become an ensemble, more of an ensemble picture. How do you feel that really evolved, and what part of that process do you really enjoy?
I think it's so much more fun. Well, you know, my character is a little different too, because season 1 I was being kept in the dark, so I couldn't really get that involved. My character couldn't. And then in season 2 I was in a coma, and then I was going crazy, and then I was seeing ghosts and seeing Nick, and then I had the love affair with Catherine Renard. So
that guy is a hottie.
That was pretty fun. But it was a lot of stuff, especially with the Juliet losing her mind. It was a lot of stuff that was alone, so I got lonely on set. I know, I really did. I wasn't even working with
I wouldn't see her for weeks at a time.
Yeah. And then I loved once towards the end of season 2 when I finally found out and really believe it. And I think the most important scene was when Bud, who I love, Danny Bruno, great Portland actor, when Bud and Monroe and Rosalie morphed for Juliet, it really for her was seeing is believing. And then I just knew that from then on, you know, my character would actually be allowed in on the story. And I think it's been awesome with this whole sort of Scooby Squad dynamic. It's really, really fun. And we, you know, the scenes take 3 times as long to shoot because you have, you know, 5 people in a scene now and everybody needs to get their coverage, but we have a blast on set.
Yeah, it's been so much more fun. It's been so much more fun. Personally, it gives me a little time off too, which is nice in that way, but it's also, again, I'll just reiterate what Bitsie said, like when the group is together on set, it is so, it's just, you sit around a lot and it's just so fun to hang out with these people in between scenes. And her character, they finally, like she had a rough go because it was written in this way that she wasn't enabling like the hero. And now, finally, she has some really fun stuff to do, and then, you know, it's been fun getting to have her involved. That was, by the way, for you, such a spoiler, sorry.
I was just wondering if you ever get to use some of the weapons. Like,
who is that? Oh my god! That's the reason I couldn't tell. Do I ever get like on the streets?
Take them home with them?
You know, like when you're on set, you ever get to just go into the little trailer, take the weapons out, and just play with them?
I don't know if you know how movies are made, sir. I will say this, the weapons cabinet is very cool. I do not fight with them in between scenes. So sorry. Yeah, man, they're like extremely rad. You know, I'd lie if I would say I haven't posed in a mirror with a crossbow before.
Well, you know what's really neat is I don't know if it's props department, but especially if you're fighting, because I've had, in the scene in episode 3 where I beat up the wife beater of the guy who's beating my...
Not the t-shirt, the dude.
I had that skillet that I hit him over the head with, and they have to make every weapon that's actually real, they have to make one that looks exactly the same way out of foam so that people like me don't hurt anyone.
She's the least coordinated human woman.
I was telling somebody earlier today that, because they were saying, oh, I love that scene where you get so involved, and I said, well, actually, in rehearsals, and this is true, and this is the problem with me and why I really, really need to work with a stunt coordinator, they gave me an actual skillet, which is a big mistake. Within 10 minutes, I had broken a light off of the ceiling, and I was practicing, and I was like, well, who gave me the skillet? You guys know better. But yeah, it's really neat that they just look exactly like little replicas with their foam and really couldn't hurt anyone that badly.
They still hurt though.
This is a question for both of you. What would be your least favorite monster on film?
My least favorite monster.
You have the slug.
The slug was gross.
Oh, and the guy in the Reggie, in the Sergeant Wu episode, the main licking, the guy right? Look, everyone's like, no, don't even talk about it.
Yeah. Anything that... It sounds so bad. I'm not going to rephrase this. Because I had another gross one, the fly character. She really liked whenever there's like a small insect tongue. But the Oswald was the grossest because it like went into the belly button. Into the little pregnant woman. But I want to ask you, wait, what's your name? Buddy? What's your name?
Andre?
Andre, what's your least favorite creature?
I'd have to say the guy with the horse. Look, I haven't been watching it a lot because I'm away with my mom. So
He's never seen the show. He's just referencing what I already talked about.
It was around the first season.
Got it.
There's a guy with the horns, but he's not really my favorite because he's not really grossy.
Good grossy, I love it.
He's not really gross and he doesn't look very scary.
Gotcha. Well, thank you.
Okay, this is for both of you, but first to Bitsie, I have two questions. One, how was it to be a young girl and have the name Bitsie? Did you get made fun of a lot?
No, I didn't. And what are you suggesting?
I'm just wondering, it's just kind of an odd name.
Well, my first name is Elizabeth, actually.
Okay, all right.
But Bitsie was my grandfather's nickname. He was a bomber pilot in World War II in the Korean War. And yeah, big military family. And people started calling me Bitsie when I was a baby because he and I were so close. And then when he passed away, when I was 12, I started going by Bitsie. But no, nobody made fun of me.
Okay.
Except for you.
There's always a first. Now, my other question is, I noticed with Monroe and with Sergeant Blue and all, these guys came from a show that I love called Prison Break.
Sure.
And I was wondering if there's any connection between you guys' show and that show.
Beyond, no, I don't think there are any producers that produce both of our shows. They just both happen to be really good actors, so they
Yeah,
can
I love them in both shows.
Yeah, I mean Reggie Lee. I mean this guy is unsung. I don't think people understand. Like he works so diligently. I remember I was flying up from LA to Portland, which is only like a 2-hour flight, right? And he was working on this scene. He was like writing down all these notes for 2 straight hours. I was working on my script. I didn't know what scene he was working on. We get to set later on in the week, and it's a scene where he has no lines, and he's walking down the hallway. He is like...
It's pretty amazing. I love, first of all, he has beautiful handwriting, like just extraordinary. But I just go over to his apartment sometimes, and there's no white on the paper. He's just written. He works so hard, and I think that he, as David said, unsung because he has made such brilliant choices when he doesn't have a line, or if he just has one line and he can do it 20 different ways. He's just prepared for everything, and I was so happy for him. Not only because he got to speak Tagalog and sort of honor his Filipino background, but in the Aswang episode that he had this big storyline and he killed it. He was just fantastic.
Yeah, so he is fantastic. I mean, he was only supposed to be on one episode of Prison Break, and you saw he got in the whole season. So.
And he's also been in Pirates of the Caribbean and The Dark Knight Rises. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious too.
Oh, and Fast and the Furious too.
Yes. As well. Oh, also.
Sorry.
In the show was Trouble your sister?
Let me tell you what. It is true. So my mom was played by a woman named Mary Elizabeth Antonio. That's an Italian name. You don't know that. My last name is Giuntoli, very Italian. And her last name is Taboni, Italian. I think there's something in the water over there. But no, it looks like she might be my sister. But no, she's not gonna be my sister. There are a lot of people that ask.
Related.
Yeah, well, probably like way back we may have been related at some point. But no, she's just gonna be a friend and a student.
Although I think one of Jacqueline's cousins randomly in real life married a Giuntoli.
There's like 9 Giuntolis in the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah.
And yeah, a cousin of hers in San Francisco married a Giuntoli. By the way, whose father's first name was Bimbo. Bimbo Giuntoli. We are very Italian.
I have one more question.
Bring it.
When it was Monroe and Juliet, right?
Rosalie.
Rosalie, and you lost your power, your Grimm sense at the end. Were you kind of like mad?
At the end of the last season? I think I was very sad that I lost them. I don't think I was really mad. It felt like I lost a friend, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's something I came to actually come to love.
People.
We got a TARDIS over here.
He's blind.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Go, go, go.
As he pointed out.
Oh, perfect.
I have a question. Do you think Sergeant Wu will ever get his revenge, basically, on you?
Okay, I'm going to repeat it because it wasn't in the microphone.
Okay.
Does she think that Sergeant Wu is ever going to get his revenge on Nick and Hank? It's a very good question. It was a difficult moment to not tell him.
And he saw that picture.
And he saw that picture.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, it was hard as Dave, the empath, to let him sit in this insanity and not tell him. But I wonder if they're ever going to have Reggie find out, Sergeant Wu find
I
out.
hope so. That would be good when he finds out.
Yeah, I think right now we need somebody in the police force who's not, in the scuba gang.
Yeah.
But yes, I would imagine once he finds out, he's just gonna hold me down and slap me over and over and over. Because it's terrible. It's really terrible.
Hi, I just wanted to say I absolutely love your show. I just had a quick question. So, out of the weapon cabinet, which one is your favorite?
I'm like a Luddite. I forswear technology. I like the stick with the chain, with the ball, with the spikes on it. I think it's called, isn't it called a mace? Yeah. I have all these, I've got guns, I've got rifles, I've got swords. I just want to,
My question actually was going to be the same, so you just answered it.
Oh, lovely. Let me give you another one. The Canobo, which is just a baseball bat with spikes.
Same stories about whether or not Reggie and would be brought into the Scooby Gang.
Got it. I don't know, it's fun having him in the dark. I mean, that adds a thing, that adds something to the show that we would lose. We lose.
But he does find the drawing in the season finale episode, so we at least know he's going to start asking questions.
By the way, if he doesn't, the actor Reggie Lee is going to spend a week trying to figure out why he's not asking questions. And he's going to make it.
He's not a detective yet, but really, come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyhow.
I was going to ask you, when Juliet was scratched by a cat, how did they do it when she was scratched?
When Juliet was scratched by the cat, how did she get the
Well,
women's
this is
underneath?
actually really neat. You know, a little known fact, and I'm obsessed with my dog, and I talk about it incessantly, and so eventually, by the time the show was picked up, they said, okay, you're going to be a veterinarian, which is really exciting for me, and so I love working, the scenes where I get to work with animals. There were 3 cats in that scene that looked exactly the same. The superstar cat was Mo. And
All of them died on set, I'm sorry.
But Mo was so smart because I had little treats in my pocket, so I was totally bribing him. But I would say, paw, and he would act like he was scratching me, and then right before he would retract his claws.
That is very smart.
Yeah, which was so smart. So he would do that with the claws out, and then bring them in, and then later on they just added the blood. So it's really just a matter of pulling my hand back, but he never scratched me, which was awesome.
So there's this company that's in LA, and it happens also to be in Portland, Oregon, called Talented Animals. And that's who we work with. So they'll bring the exotic
We
creatures.
had a baby tiger in the beginning. Right when we went back to season 3 to start filming, for some reason they were like, and here's the baby tiger.
Well, it's because they need to they get these new feral animals, and they need to, I guess ingratiate them.
Yeah.
They have to try to make them
Not
comfortable
scare
around
them.
human beings.
Yeah.
And then they can start training them. So sometimes we get tigers on set. It's very cute.
My question is for both of you.
Hi.
When your agents first pitched this idea to you and wanted you to audition, what did you think of the concept? Did you think your agent was crazy? Did you think this was ridiculous? Nobody's ever going to watch this. What were you thinking, and how surprised are you that it has become the hit that it is?
I was not in a position to be a guy like, no. It was really about, I was in a completely different headspace, and you're in something called pilot season, and you're auditioning for all of these potential shows that are going to get made into pilots, but they might not get picked up as series. So there's 3 a day sometimes, and
3 auditions a day.
3 auditions a day. So you're kind of just drowning in material and praying for a job because you never know if you're going to become employed when you're an actor. So I wasn't even thinking in those terms. But once I was smart enough, I've done enough pilots in the past that I knew that NBC needed stuff, and I knew that genre TV has a really good chance of making it. And I also knew it was unlike anything else I'd read. It wasn't like another medical drama with some twist. It was like had a personality to it, so it could completely stick out. I also knew that the executive producer, Sean Hayes, was very good friends with the head of NBC.
Well, I was excited because Grimm and Kauf had come. They were writing on the X-Files, and then they did Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel together, and they were great shows. They were both big hits. And I also thought, well, this is kind of a really neat idea to do a procedural, but to do it with the format of a fairy tale. Because one of the things that's great about the show that I love is that it does really well internationally too, because it's not one of those shows that's easily lost in translation. We don't do as many as we did season 1 that were, more like Sleeping Beauty or Rumpelstiltskin, the ones that people are really familiar with. But fairy tales are all about generally a young protagonist trying to find his way home, and I think that that's something that's very easily relatable in one format, in one form or another. So.
Oh, me, finally. Okay.
I know, man.
Welcome to Texas.
Thank you, brother. It's good to be here.
What are both of you, best and worst moments filming?
Best moment filming. It's got us. I can tell you probably the worst. Sometimes it gets cold outside, and we have to shoot a lot of nights. Okay, end of season 1. Season 1 is a blur to me. I worked a lot, I did not sleep much, and whatever. So our last season, I'll talk about our scene. When I take Juliet to the trailer, it was freezing out. And I was so tired. We were all so tired. And they had to do this rain scene, so we had a rain machine.
It wasn't just a rain machine. It was
dumping freezing cold water onto us.
I had rubber boots on in this scene, and I'm not kidding. I took my sock out of it and then dumped it, and like just tons of water. It was torrential. Which
Yeah, it was like being
crazy
underneath a
too.
waterfall,
Yeah,
crazy cold.
it was insane.
And trying to say these like really personal lines when I'm finally telling her, that was a rough moment. Anything with cold water. One of the best. Boy, I mean, just getting the pilot was so wonderful. So I would say probably something in the pilot. I remember, it's kind of like, because I would watch TV and movies all the time, and then I dreamt about being an actor, and then you finally get on a show that you know is going to be seen by millions and millions of people. And it is an out-of-body experience when you're in front of these cameras for the first time. And boy, just probably the whole pilot experience for me. Yeah.
I really liked the scene in season 1 where he proposes, and I said, "Say no." I just thought it was a really.
By the way, it's happened now 4 times in various films and movies with us.
I just thought it was a really sweet scene, and it was a scene that really, was not about the procedural stuff. It was really just about the relationship between two people who really loved each other very much.
Yeah. That stuff's a little easier to connect to than some of the police procedural stuff as an actor, I think. I want to take a photo of everybody.
Hi guys. My question is actually for both of you. And he thought of the question, but he didn't want to ask it.
Nice.
I'm sure he's happy you're now calling him out.
My question is, speaking of your off time, what kind of shows are y'all DVRing or that y'all are into right now?
Game of Thrones. I'm really into Game of Thrones. I'm super into Homeland. I'm trying to think what else. The
Dude,
Daily
Sopranos,
Show.
dude.
Frontline. The Sopranos.
We've been watching, neither of us, we live down the hall from each other in Portland. Like, several of us live in the same building. And neither one of us has seen The Sopranos so we started watching together. What do I watch?
Oh, Derek. Wow,
Derek, it's like this,
with the Ricky Gervais.
nobody sees it, it's very cute, yeah. Arguably offensive, but also very sweet. What am I watching? I like how you said Frontline. It's like a 98-year-old man. Oh boy. Oh, I was very into True Detective.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a great film. I thought that was beautifully shot.
Apparently Brad Pitt's doing the next season.
Yeah.
I just heard. Which is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Interesting how?
Well, I think coming off of Matthew McConaughey. Plus, it's kind of hard to watch him do anything besides look pretty.
She's talking about me. Yeah, that's what we're watching.
Hi, I really love the show. I'm a great fan.
Thank you.
And the question I have is, it's kind of a twofold question, and it's really either one of y'all or both of y'all. It seems that every Grimm can draw really well.
In the exact same way.
And so question one, is that a Grimm trait or is that just a coincidence? And the other, are all of those things that are in the books, do you actually have books with that in there, or is that all just CG?
I think the Grimm coincidence is more of a production coincidence. The books are real and they're very cool. And we have a woman who graduated from like art school and was like, I don't know what to do. And she's got this job where now she gets to create all of our, these beautiful drawings and this, basically the soul of our show. So she creates all of that, and there are many, many books filled with those drawings. Why doesn't Nick read about some of the other creatures that he's not investigating that day? No. Why doesn't he digitize this stuff? But in the beginning, they're like, flip through the book, flip through the book. And there was like only one drawing in it, so I get like, flip to one page, put it back, and flip to the same page again. So now it's kind of getting filled up. Yeah.
Hi. Big fan of your show. It's really well written. The big plot lines are great, and then the personal plot lines are really, really well written. I think there are like over 200 Grimm's fairy tales. Are y'all going to continue to explore characters and the strange features of those kind of stories down the road? And would y'all ever consider doing Grimm on the road, where like you do Grimm in Texas or Grimm in...
Like dinner theater?
Leader would put you up at their house. And, good people in here.
That's a funny question.
I would love, I know that season 1 they were doing a lot of the better known fairy tales like Sleeping Beauty or Little Red Riding Hood. It'd be nice to. I know they haven't done Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs yet, which surprises me. I'd like to see more of that, but what we do, I mean, the quotes, it's kind of fun, the quotes at the beginning of the episode. I Google them. I'm like, well, which one are we doing? And sometimes they're related and sometimes they're not. But, we had one that was a Haitian legend. And so, yeah, they're trying to branch out and make it a little more international. And I think, one of the things that has been great is that a couple of us speak other languages. And so they, Sasha, for example, speaks French and Russian. And they've found ways, Reggie with the Tagalog, to incorporate, different cultures.
Yeah. Something fun also is that we've been just creating new fairy tales. Which is like, it fits with the story's conceit, which is, I'm a Grimm, these aren't fairy tales, these are stories, I'm just writing them down. And so now we can kind of create new things. Anything that we're not going to get sued for is what we'll pull from. That's source material. And as far as Grimm on the Road goes, listen man, once this thing ends, I will, for any amount of money, I will solo performances. I gotta think long term. If that looked like a Nazi salute, it was not.
We got time for 2 more questions. One here and then one somewhere else.
Hi, I love the show. Happy birthday, David.
Thank you so much. I had a birthday a couple days
My
ago.
question is, would you consider maybe joining in the movie for Magic Mike 2?
Well, I think a simple Google search will actually show you what could have been that audition. I was once on a reality show called Road Rules, back in the day, and I had to do one of our missions was a striptease in a gay club in Auckland, New Zealand, and it was awkward. And there are photos of that, so look away.
Good fan.
Thank you.
I know I follow you guys on Twitter, and I know Bitsie, you post a lot, and I see on how the viewing parties at home and watching the show or other various things. But as far as the show, personally, where would y'all like to see your characters go, and who is your favorite character on the show? As David and Bitsie,
Oh, gotcha. Got it.
I think it would be pretty fun at some point to get knocked up by this gentleman and just see what happens.
Like what would come
Like a little,
out?
like a little Grimble.
Yeah.
A little baby Grimm.
He's got like some parted hair. That would be funny. Yeah.
Rehearsal.
It could be later. That, my friend, was a callback. I love it. Okay, wait. Who's your favorite character?
Probably you.
Really? Oh, that's so sweet. Whereas, can Monrosa Lee be one character? They're so sweet, aren't they? Bree is so sweet. Every time she talks, it looks like it can be panned down. It looks like she could be baking a pie. She's got that warm smile. And it's great.
Where do you want your character to go? Oh, yeah.
Oh, where do I want him to go? Oh my God. Where do you want your character to go? Oh, you want to get knocked up?
That is going to be so quoted out of context.
Where does Nick Burkhardt want to go?
Do you want to be knocked up as him a Grimm or not? Which would you prefer?
All right, okay.
Now you're-
I would, someone actually brought up a really good story point, which was, not that I want to see Sasha die off the show, but the captain was shot, right? Spoiler alert. Burkhardt becomes the captain, right? Because we still want Sasha on the show, he becomes the comedic ghost character. He'll show up with a clown nose on and a ghost clown nose and like moves things. So yeah, that might be kind of a fun little storyline.
Awesome, great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.